Literally, there's only 4 steps you need to do in order to start a legitimate business. Establish a business name, register your business name with the Secretary of State, purchase some license and permits, and then obtain an EIN. Hey everybody, so if you didn't know, I sell all natural skincare products over on my Etsy shop. And I do know basically everything you need to do in order to start up a business in Ohio. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about all the steps you need to go through in order to start a business, also known as a sole proprietorship. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I will talk about what a sole proprietorship is a little bit later. But we are going to be talking about everything you need to do in order to establish a sole proprietorship within Ohio. I do hope I am able to explain everything fluently in this video. I do understand if this topic is confusing because this is a very confusing topic. It's very intimidating. So if you finish watching this video and you're still confused, check out the description box. I will try to explain everything in short. I will give a bunch of links and just places you can go to do further research, but I still recommend watching this video so you can get more detail about everything you need to do. So this is all the requirements and steps you need to take within Ohio. If you live in a different state, all your legal requirements are completely different than Ohio, but this video is probably still a good reference video to start at. So I do recommend watching it just so you can get some perspective and some information about the things that I talk about, because it could be pretty similar to your state. But if you live in a different state, I will have a link down below to a website that has a list of all 50 states, and all you need to do is click on your state and it will give you a step-by-step list of everything you need to do in order to establish a business or a sole proprietorship within your state. So let's just get into it so you can figure out how to establish a sole proprietorship within your state. So you may be wondering, what is a sole proprietorship? Essentially, it means a business that is owned by just one sole entity. So it just has one owner. So with sole proprietorships, they can have employees as well. There are different types of businesses like partnerships and LLCs. I don't really know too much about those businesses, but if you do, then leave a comment down below explaining what those are, because I'm sure people who are clicking on this video can benefit from learning from those as well. But essentially, for most of you guys who sell on Etsy, on eBay, on any kind of e-commerce website, if you're selling at festivals or fairs, then most likely you are a sole proprietorship. The next thing you would probably be is a partnership. But most of you guys are probably sole proprietorships, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing you need to do, the easiest thing, is picking a business name. So in Ohio, a sole proprietorship can use their own legal given name as their business, but for most of you guys, you're going to be picking a trade name or a fictitious name, which is a different name than your own personal name. And I do think this is a good idea to give your own business a separate name. It really just depends on what you're selling or what kind of services you're offering. That determines what type of name it should be. But for most of you guys, it's going to be a different name than your own personal name. So once you have your name picked out, it's probably a smart idea to do some research, do some Googling, and see if there's any other businesses out there with a similar name to yours, or maybe the same exact name. And obviously, if it's the same exact name, you can't use it. If it's a similar name, this might be more of a touchy subject, but personally, if it's too similar, I would recommend picking a whole different name, because when someone hears your business name, you don't want them thinking of somebody else's business or someone else's company, because you want your own business to have its own identity of its own and be separate from any other business. So picking a business name is really important. This is what everyone's going to think of when they think of your business. So once you have your trade name picked out, go on the Secretary of State of Ohio's website, and all you need to do is print out their application, fill it out. It's super simple questions like your name, your address, your business name, and then mail it in with the $50 registration fee. All you need to do is pay that $50 once, it's registered, and it's done. You mail it in, about a week later, you'll get a certificate saying your name is approved, and bam, now your name is legally registered in your state. So the next step is obtaining license, permits, or zoning clearance. I'm not really sure exactly what zoning clearance is, so we're not going to be talking about that. But let's talk about the license and permits. So depending on what type of services you're doing or what you're selling can determine if you need a permit or a license in order to conduct that sort of business. So for example, if you're doing hair, you need a cosmetology license. If you are a nurse, you need a nursing license. For most people like me who sell skincare products, I don't need a license to do that that. If you're selling t-shirts, you don't need a license to do that. Basically, if you're making handmade goods, you most likely won't need a license. But there's a website I will link down below for you guys. Again, this is for Ohio, that has a list of all the different types of trades, and it will let you know if you need to obtain a license in order to conduct that type of service or business. So if you are selling product, then you do need to obtain a vendor's license or a transit vendor's license. A vendor's license is for somebody who is doing sale in one place. I do all my business from my house. I sell everything online, so I just ship it out in the mail. So all I need is my vendor's license. Now, if you're just traveling around doing sales, then you should obtain a transit vendor's license. So in order to obtain your vendor's license, super easy process. You go onto the website, which I will have the website linked down below for you guys. All you need to do is click on a vendor's license, and you just go through a process. I think it's like just reading it and like filling out your information, which is super easy information, like your address and your name. And then you pay $25 right there online with your bank card. You print it out, and bam, now you have a vendor's license. So you literally can get a vendor's license within 5 minutes. And that license never expires as long as you keep doing your taxes, which we'll talk a little bit more about taxes here in a minute. The next thing we're going to be talking about is EINs. And EINs are employer identification numbers, and essentially an EIN is used in order to do taxes, which doing taxes is super important when you have a business, because if you don't do them, you can get in huge trouble. With sole proprietorships, like I said, you can have employees. So if you have employees, you will have your own EIN, and all your employees will have different EINs. You might be familiar with EINs when you go to do your taxes. So if you've ever done taxes, you've worked with an EIN. But if you are the only sole entity in your business, like me, I am the only person doing business within my business. It is just me making everything, selling everything. I do everything. So I technically don't need an EIN. I can just use my social security number. But if you do have employees, then you do have to have an EIN. So now that we have the EIN established, we can start talking about taxes. Because in order to do taxes, you have to have your EIN or social security number, depending on which one you use. So doing your taxes, this is where the whole topic gets a little confusing. First, let's talk about when to collect taxes. So here in Ohio, I only need to charge my customers tax for places I have nexus. And nexus means any place where you conduct business or store your product for your business. So everything I make for my business is made here in my home. All my product and inventory is all stored within my home. So I only need to charge nexus within my state. So let's just say I conduct all my business here in Ohio, but I store all my stuff in a warehouse in New York for whatever reason. Then I need to charge taxes for any citizens who purchase from me in New York. And this goes for the entire state of New York and the entire state of Ohio. But I charge the customers my tax rate for my own county. So if somebody from Franklin County purchases from me, they're only going to be paying my tax rate, which is 7.5%. And this makes sense because think about it. If you go to Walmart in a different county, you're paying their tax rate, not your own personal tax rate, because you're in their county. So if somebody from like Florida purchases from me, they don't have to pay taxes. But if someone over in Franklin County purchases from me, they have to pay 7.5% of taxes because I have nexus in Ohio and they gotta pay tax. So this is only in Ohio. I'm not sure what other states' requirements are. You'll have to do your own research for that. But essentially, if you live in Ohio, you only need to charge tax for people who are in Ohio unless you store stuff in New York or Florida for whatever reason, then you have to charge tax there as well. So depending on how much tax you collect within a tax bracket time will determine if you need to do taxes biannually or quarterly. So if you collect an X amount of money within a quarter, then you need to do taxes quarterly. But the biannual brackets are July and January. So in July, I need to add up all the taxes I collected from January to June and file that in July. It's super easy process, actually. For most of you guys, you will probably be doing taxes biannually because, like I said, you only need to charge tax within your own state. When you go to register your EIN, it will ask you like how much taxes you expect to collect, and it will let you know if you should be doing them biannually or quarterly. So going through this process, everything will become more clear and you'll understand it a lot more than when you're just sitting here having me explain it to you. So I do want to make one thing clear. Talking about this biannually and quarterly taxes are completely different than the yearly taxes in January that everybody does. Even though you need to do your quarterly or biannual taxes as well, you still need to be doing your yearly taxes. And your yearly taxes are a completely different topic. So that is literally all the steps you need to do in order to establish a business. So let's go through it real quick. Establish a business name, register your business name with the Secretary of State, purchase some license and permits, and then obtain an EIN. Literally, there's only 4 steps you need to do in order to start a legitimate business. But I understand this video is way longer because I went into a lot of detail on how to do everything. So I'll say it one more time. This entire video only goes for Ohioans, people who live in Ohio. If you live in a different state, the rules and regulations are completely different. They may be a little similar, but they're completely different. So for all of you guys wondering, do I need to pay taxes when I sell on Etsy? Do I need to pay taxes when I sell on eBay? Yes, you do. But yeah. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do apologize if it was rather confusing. I do hope I was able to explain everything fluently. So if you guys have any questions over anything I talked about, then please leave your questions down in the comments below. I will do my best to answer those questions for you guys, or I'll just leave some links to websites so you guys can do further research on it on your own so I don't have to just write it all out to you guys. So I do hope you guys have a great week, and I do hope to see you guys next time. Bye!
I'm stuck in the motions. I've been consumed by the wrath of time, like I'm shattered in this life. It's still the path that I've chosen, because I've had a vision. Now I'm on a mission to find myself.